everyone. My name is Sandy Soto. I am an EFL professor at Universidad Técnica de Machala. I am also the coordinator of ELT Innovators Research Group, which is sponsored by Universidad Técnica de Machala. In this video, I am going to present the topic English language teaching in Ecuador, an analysis of its evolution within the national curriculum of public primary schools. The authors of this work are me, Sandy Soto, Ederin Triago, Estefania Vargas Caicedo, Marisela Cajamarca Illescas, Silvia Cárdenas, Paolo Fabre Merchan, Israel Bravo, María Antonieta Morales Jaramillo, and Johnny Villafuerte. Let's start with a brief introduction about how English language teaching has developed in Ecuador. Okay? EFL was first introduced in Ecuador during the 30s and the 40s. Okay? When some private institutions started to promote the importance of learning a foreign language. Espinosa 2007 explained that former President Galo Plaza Lasso brought foreign teachers to teach the language. However, only students in the upper secondary benefited from learning English at that time. Things in ELT did not change much up to the beginning of the 90s. Okay, with the intention of making English language learning accessible for foreign students in public schools, for all students in public schools in 1992, the Ministry of Education created the Foreign Language Administration. This department was established under an agreement between the Ministry of Education and the British Council with the purpose of studying the curriculum reform aimed at the development of English, the learning of English. This project was widely known as the Cradle Project. Well, let's continue talking a little bit more about English in Ecuador. So the efforts of introducing English EFL as a formal subject in the secondary started in 1993, as we already mentioned in the previous, by presenting the previous slide, with the implementation of Cradle, and later on with Advance, another project for English. This project actually replaced Cradle. This, however, has not been the case for EFL in primary schools. In the past, there was not much support from education stakeholders to include English in primary schools. In fact, as it can be seen in the curriculum approved in 1996. Okay, let's move to the next slide and see. This is the curriculum framework that was approved in 1996. English did not exist for the kindergarten, basic elementary or basic intermediate levels in primary school. So these are all the levels that were taught in 1996, and English is not here. Here are all the subjects, but English does not appear here. Well, let's talk about the objective of this work. Okay, for the purpose of this work is to portray the gradual change in the status of English as a foreign language subject within the Ecuadorian national curriculum for public primary schools since it was introduced in the curriculum in 2000. As part of the methodology to develop this work, we made a review of public documents, including Ministry of Education agreements, studies performed by UNESCO, as well as data from official web pages and newspapers. Well, the results. Let's talk about the results of our study. Okay, the introduction of the EFL subject in the curriculum of public primary schools in 2000 resulted from the attempts made by the administrators of the Cradle Project since 1993. The Cradle Project proposed the Ministry of Education at that time to include EFL in the curriculum for primary public schools, and 7 years later they started operating in the project at the high school level. They managed the Ministry of Culture and Education to include EFL in primary schools 7 years later after they started operating in Ecuador. In March 2000, the Ministry of Culture and Education issued the Agreement 746. According to the Article 2 of this agreement, the Ministry of Culture and Education agreed to implement EFL instruction from the 1st to the 7th years of primary schools. Okay, but this subject will be considered as an elective subject. Okay, so however, it depended in implementation of English in primary schools at that time depended on the school's principal's decisions and also on other factors. For example, establishment that had the facilities and teachers with the qualifications for teaching English could do it. In other establishments, during the hours for the elective subject, music or manual arts could be instructed. Okay, so in this time they implemented 1 to 2 hours, from 1 to 2 hours for teaching this elective subject. Okay, let's see. This is a curriculum framework that I was telling you about. Okay, so even though there was this new stipulation of including an elective subject, the curriculum map did not change. Okay, officially the elective subject appeared in the curriculum elementary schools in 2009. As we can see, this is the curriculum map that the new curriculum map in 2009. And as we can see in this table, nevertheless, just with the agreement, 746 schools could include the subject in their schools. Okay. So before the implementation of this curriculum framework, it was not really necessary in that time to have a new structured curriculum framework. Just with the agreement that the Ministry of Education had issued, they could implement English or the elective subject that they wanted to. They chose in the school's curriculum. Okay. Another change that involved EFL teaching in primary schools was seen in August 2011. Through Agreement 306/11, instead of the two class periods assigned for the elective subject in the previous curriculum, the Ministry of Education added 5 class periods and assigned them to complementary or additional activities. Okay, during these periods, teachers could instruct students with subjects such as English, computing, music, or physical education. Adequate staff and resources to teach these subjects were necessary also. Okay, this is the curriculum map. As we can see, the new curriculum map where we have the introduction of additional activities. Okay, so let's move on. Now, on March 11, 2014, a new agreement was issued, Agreement 4114. Okay, this agreement caused a national controversy as it established a new curriculum for the basic years of primary schools and the basic years of high school, which did not leave room for incorporating English language in primary schools. In the place of complementary activities, a class period for clubs was introduced. Okay, these clubs hours replaced the additional and complementary activities. These clubs were meant for extracurricular activities concerning cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific, and social interaction matters. The school community and the media reacted immediately and claimed that with this new agreement, represented a setback for the public primary education. This is the curriculum framework that was approved that was issued and released in March 2014. So here we can see clubs instead of complementary activities, and this only had 3 hours for teaching these additional subjects or extracurricular activities. In the light of this, on March 23rd, 2014, the Minister of Education issued a communication on its official website and stated that what had been reported by the media was weak and that such agreement did not modify the curriculum framework for public primary schools. In addition to that, the Minister of Education also indicated that those institutions that already offer EFL or any other foreign language within their curriculum in the first grades of schools could continue offering its instruction by presenting the curriculum to the corresponding district administration following the transitory disposition stipulated in the mentioned agreement. Okay? The day after this communication was published on the Ministry of Education website, a new agreement was issued by the same ministry. It was the agreement 5214, which was issued on March 24th. Through this new agreement, the Ministry of Education agreed to issue the regulations exploitation of the transitory disposition included in this agreement, which stated that language teaching will be mandatory for public religion-driven and private institutions from the second grade of primary schools to the last year of high school. Okay, so this reform would be included in the 2016-2017 school year for the Sierra region, and in 2017-2018 for the Coast and Amazon region. Likewise, in its Article 2, the agreement also stipulated that the academic periods, which in the agreement 4114 were assigned to clubs, could be used for EFL classes, but only those schools to be able to incorporate the EFL in the curriculum, they needed to have teachers accredited with a B2 level. The school should also have the necessary resources to guarantee the correct learning of these languages. But not all schools comply with this requirement. Well, we are getting to the conclusions right now. So as conclusions, we can see that ELT has had an very irregular status in the curriculum of elementary schools in Ecuador. Its official recognition has taken over 20 years. The lack of an EFL curriculum and qualified teachers influence its incorporation in all primary schools, because let's remember that it was the decision of the principal to include the subject or no in the curriculum of each school, and it depended on the availability of human resources and material resources for teaching this language. Okay, EFL was officially implemented as a compulsory subject in all Ecuadorian public primary schools in September 2016 in the Sierra and Amazon region, and in 2017 in the coastal provinces. Okay, it is necessary to study whether, as a future reference, it's necessary to study whether this subject is being taught in all schools or not. Well, on behalf of Universidad Técnica de Machala, ELT Innovators Research Group, Universidad Laica Loyal Faro de Manabí, Universidad de Guayaquil, Universidad Nacional de Educación, Colegio Río Upano, Universidad Estatal de Milagro, Universidad del País Vasco, I would like to thank you for all your attention, for paying attention to this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about how English has evolved throughout the curriculum in Ecuadorian primary schools. Thank you so much.